Wherever I may wander, wherever I may go, always float back down the Ohio. Wherever I may travel, wherever I may roam, Paducah calls me home. Paducah calls me home. Paducah calls me home.
It's hard to imagine that people once willingly swam in the Ohio River. The current seems too strong and the barge traffic too heavy, and there's ever-present trepidation as to what might lurk just below the surface. Alligator gar, snakes, rusted metal, who knows? While the Ohio is the source of our drinking water, untreated it seems a little too dirty to actually submerge oneself in. However, swimming in the Ohio used to be a common recreational activity, and one reason for that could be that Paducah had its own beach, a significant sandbar across from the foot of Broadway on the Illinois side of the river, as wide as an island and nearly a half-mile long. The first reference found for this specific sandbar dates back to a March 15, 1897 issue of the Paducah Daily Sun, cheekily called the East End Edition. The paper speculated as to the future of the sandbar because of recent flooding. Year after year, the article stated, a change is perceptible in the East End edition, and after the present rise, old rivermen would not be surprised to find the bar almost down as far as Brooklyn. In the early 1900s, the paper not only touted the continued existence of the sandbar, but also of its increased use for recreational purposes. September 23, 1902. This morning a queer sight was witnessed. There was a horse on the sandbar opposite the city grazing on the grass that has grown on the bar. June 14, 1903. A very delightful rowing party was given on Thursday evening in honor of Miss Inez Vertrice of Vinegrove, who was the attractive guest of Miss Odie Purrier. After several hours on the water, a delicious luncheon was served on the sandbar opposite the city. November 7th, 1910. The river is getting thin here, and the sandbar abreast the wharf boat resembles an island. For the first time, the bar was used as a playground yesterday by boys who pulled over in a skiff. Jump forward another decade, and the sandbar is bequeathed a more permanent name, Sunset Beach. By all accounts, it appears as if the number of people using the sandbar for swimming purposes has increased so much that changing rooms were put up across the river and daily ferry service from the Paducah side was offered. In his book, My Paducah, historian Barry White recalled Sunset Beach as it was in the early 20s. A wooden change house had been erected over the shallow water, and wooden barriers were placed out at the limit of the shallow part, with a sign warning swimmers not to go beyond the markers. The small 10-passenger ferry boat made trips back and forth every hour, all day long until dusk. By the mid-1920s, Paducah Sunset Beach was nothing short of a resort. The Paducah Sun-Democrat ran endless articles and ads about the beach. Local clothing stores hawked the latest bathing suit styles, and an enterprising local named Captain Joe Billings made the sandbar his business during the summer months. He operated two ferries, the Gypsy and the Nalda, that took bathers back and forth from the sandbar every 15 minutes. By 1927, the amenities that Billings added to the sandbar included 600 lockers to store personal items, 50 private dressing rooms, electric lighting, a concession stand featuring sandwiches and soft drinks, a $1,500 calliophone, think player piano combined with calliope, and this 20 by 75 foot diving platform. Sunset Beach was Paducah's summer party spot. But then tragedy struck. Despite the presence of lifeguards, safety was an issue. The summers of 1927 and 28 each saw the tragic drowning of a local youth, and the bad publicity and lawsuits involved were enough to bring the carefree days of Sunset Beach to a halt. To pay for the settlements, Billings had to sell off his boats and equipment. And while people still went to the sandbar on their own in subsequent years, gone were the days of organized festivity with the resort-like amenities. In the 1930s, references to the sandbar began to fade. The current was causing the sandbar to wash away, and people began to find other options for swimming. The first municipal pool went in Noble Park in the late 1930s. Kentucky Lake was formed in the mid-1940s. And then a series of locks were established up and down the Ohio River that deepened the river and made the sandbar disappear for good.